So after you receive the interview letter, and this is how it looks like, then there are steps that you need to take in order to prepare for that interview. So please read and follow all interview preparation instructions located on the Department of State's website at. So you click that to bring you to the travel.state website. Yeah. So from here you can see immigrant visa process. So for interview preparation, you can see the first thing you need to do, schedule and complete a medical examination. That's the very first thing, because you need to go for medicals. So you need to do the medical exam so that they can check for, usually it's x-rays for the chest, for TB, and then you also need some vaccinations. I'll show you in a minute some of the vaccinations that you need to get. So what you do with registering for a medical examination, you look for the country. So for me, I know my country is Kenya, so the embassy is Nairobi. But with Nairobi embassy, with IOM in Nairobi, US visa applicants, they're not able to book an interview online. So you must write them an email. So let me show you guys that. So you can see you need to send them an email, and the email you use for Nairobi, Kenya, please check this, is IOMNBO medical@iom.int. That is what you use. Yeah, this is the email you use to send them. So once you get this email, don't make the same mistake or waste time like I did. You can see I tried booking the appointment myself online, but I was not able to. So when I called them, that's when they said, no, I'm not able to book an appointment online for the US immigrant visa, but I write them an email and they will do it for me. They will schedule me an appointment. So of course I did that. So I sent this email. So when you send the email, there are things you need to attach for them to know that yes, truly you have an interview at the US embassy coming up. Yeah. So after sending the email, please make sure you attach your passport bio, you attach your interview letter, the one that you received from the embassy, and your DS-260. DS-260 is the one that you filled in at NVC. So you attach those three and then you send that email. Usually they'll respond like within a few minutes and they tell you a ticket has been raised. So once that ticket has been raised, they'll follow up. In like 2 days, they're able to send me an appointment date. So you can see after like 2 days, they're able to send me this saying, dear, kindly note that your appointment is scheduled for 28th of December at 7 a.m. as per the attachment. So they print, and then this comes also with the things that you need to carry when you're going for the medical. The original valid passport and copies, the embassy letter, this is the interview letter that you received, DS-260 confirmation page, and then 2 passport size pictures, 2x2 on a white background. You can see that any previous medical records, if available, that is vaccination, medical history reports. So this is where the medical vaccinations come in. And then M-Pesa approximate of 65,000 Kenya shillings each per person. The exact cost will be calculated on the date of exam. Please arrange to get your COVID mandatory vaccine 14 days before your appointment. So that's basically it when it comes to medical. I'm prepping for the interview. And part of the preparation is you need to go for a medical checkup. Like they check your entire body to see if everything is okay. And then you also get vaccines that will allow you to travel. So I'm just trying to do research and try to save on some few coins. If I do everything at the medical center that's provided by the embassy, it's gonna be very expensive. Well, it's not very expensive, but it's expensive. So I was just trying to like save some coins here and there. So I've already done research on the vaccines that we need. So there's a group that we have. You guys, I think, already know that we have a group for all the people who are waiting on spousal visa here in Nairobi. And the people who have gone for the interview before me, there are vaccines that they did. So that's what I've used to do research on the vaccines that are needed. And so I called different hospitals to see which ones have those vaccines, and I got Aga Khan happened to have all of them. Well, most of them, just one. They don't have one of them. So I was like, okay, let me go to Aga Khan and do that. So I'm at Aga Khan. I've already gotten my vaccines done. I thought it's gonna be painful, but honestly, it's not painful. It's like 10 minutes now since I've gotten all the jabs, the 3 jabs.
So I want to give it time and see if I'm going to have like reactions to it. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But as you can see, here's one of the, you can see that. And then this other side there. Yeah. So now I want to go. So now I want to go to Kenyatta University Teaching and Research Hospital, KUTTR, yeah? To do the final vaccines. So the final vaccine is hepatitis B. That's what was not at Aga Khan. So I'm going to KUTTRH to get the hepatitis B done, and then I'll be done with vaccines. And now I go for the original medical checkup. So hoping everything works well. I'll keep you guys posted as we proceed. So for now, let me just show you the list of the vaccines that we need. So this is the receipt from Aga Khan, and you can see DATP or something is 6760, influenza is 2890, MMR is 1595. So I paid a total of 11,245 Kenya shillings. So that's for the vaccines. And then you pay consultation fee of 1950. That's 13,195. And remember, I don't have hepatitis B in that. So hi guys, good morning. Today is officially the day of my medical appointment at the IOM here in Nairobi. So I've already ordered my Uber and I'm about to leave the house. So I don't know if I'll be able. Of course, the recording is gonna be like very difficult, but I'll probably give you my experience after the interview. So let's cross my fingers and let's go. I've already done all the preparation, gotten all the vaccines I think they need, and COVID booster vaccine. That's necessary, actually. I forgot to mention. So it's very, very necessary. If what you had is 1 year expired, like it's if the last injection you had, COVID injection you had was 1 year ago, then they consider that expired and you need a booster. That is as of 2023 December. Yeah, so let's go for the interview. So, guys, it's several hours later. I just got back to the house. I'm tired, I'm sleepy, but it was a successful day. It was a very good day. I got to the IOM offices at around 6:45. So by the time they checked me in, I was ready to be seen at 7. So I started my process at 7 and I finished at 12. So you can count the hours. Everything went fairly well. I actually thought I'll be there for like a whole day based on what everybody has been telling me. But I feel like it took quite a short time. Yeah? Everything went smoothly. I got there. I had all my vaccines. Remember, I had all my vaccines done prior, um, including the COVID-19. So MMR, DPP, DPT or DPP, I'm not sure. Influenza, COVID-19, and then there's something else because those vaccines are supposed to be 3 plus COVID 4. Yes, so I had all that done, and of course I went and gave them my vaccination records, and they calculated for me how much I need to pay, and I you know went ahead to pay. So for someone who had done the vaccines outside IOM or prior, I have saved close to 15,000 Kenya shillings. I took an invoice of one of the guys who had not done any vaccines, and so he had to get all vaccines at IOM. And I compared his invoice to my invoice. So personally, I only paid for the physical checkup, which was like $160. With the exchange rate, it was coming to around 24,000. But for him, with all the vaccines and the checkup, he had to pay a total of around 50k, around 50k, 50,000 Kenya shillings. I'll show you the his invoice. So yeah, they're saving money, and then from there it's just basically medical checkup. Like after you pay the invoice, you go into the laboratory and they draw your blood, which the blood they check for HIV, which is really not an issue. If you have it, they won't like deny you a visa. And they also check for sexually transmitted infections, most especially syphilis. If you have it, they'll treat you and you proceed with your process. Really nothing, not a big deal. Then from there, after your blood is drawn, you now go to the X-ray. At the X-ray, they do your X-ray, of course, the chest X-ray, just to like check out, any issues with your chest, most especially TB. That's what they're like trying to look for. And then from the X-ray, you go to the nursing station where now they take your weight, they take your height, they take your body blood pressure, just general checkup. And then, I mean, just those vital checks, vital organ checks. And then after the nurse has checked you, now you wait for the doctor. And then, so the doctor does the physical examination. This is where you undress. So at the X-ray, of course, you're gonna have undress like halfway, so your upper body you undress. For women, yes, you remove even the bra. I know, but anyway, you are the doctor. So once now you go to the main doctor who does now the physical examination just to check you're okay. So they check the eyes, they check the ears, they check the throat, they check your breast for women, even for men. I think for breast cancer or any lumps, they press your abdomen, check your feet, check your fingers, check your hands. I don't know what they're looking for, honestly. But they do check, and then after the doctor has checked you, if everything is okay, they'll send you now to the vaccination place. So even if you have gotten the vaccination or even have the vaccination records, you still have to go to the vaccination office, because they have to clear you. They have to check that yes, it's true, you have the vaccination records, and they give you a certificate that can only be trusted by the embassy, because the embassy only knows that certificate from IOM. So of course I was sent to the vaccination office. I gave them my documents, and I was told to wait. So as I'm waiting, I'm wondering, so why am I waiting, and I've already gotten my test, I've already gotten my vaccines. But anyway, I wait, and then I'm called. So I had done my booster, my COVID vaccine yesterday. And so they cannot mix COVID vaccine with any other vaccines. So most people are being sent back home, guys. Most people are being sent back home. So if you go, if you've had like a COVID vaccine done like 14 days or less, you're sent back home, because they can't mix COVID vaccine with any other vaccine. So personally, I got mine yesterday. So they wanted to send me home because they're like, they can't give me, there's a vaccine they've introduced, Variella or Varicella. I'll put it here. They've introduced these vaccines. It was not in the list of the vaccines needed when I was doing my research. So I think it's just a way of them trying to look for, a way to make sure they milk money from me. So they wanted to send me home, and I'm like, so what do you want to send me home, and I have my vaccination cards. And so she goes through all the vaccination. Also she says, oh, you have a vaccine card, let me see. So I give her my vaccination card. She looks at it and she's like, but you don't have Variella. And I'm like, because I'm not familiar with all those vaccines. And she's like, yeah, that's for chickenpox. And I can see here you are not given. And I'm like, okay, but honestly, you can't send me home and ask me to come on the 11th. That's 2 weeks from now, because I had my COVID vaccine taken yesterday. So she can't give me any other vaccines. She can't give me any other vaccines until 14 days are over. So this COVID thing, it's something they've introduced as of December 2023. The US requires that you have a COVID vaccine certificate that is not older than 1 year. So all mine, so that means any COVID vaccine you've gotten has to be within the last 1 year. Yeah. So she was like, since you got your COVID vaccine yesterday, we can give you another vaccination until 14 days. So 14 days lands in 11th of January. And I was like, Mom, no, please. I can't come back here on the 11th, because I have my interview, and it has taken me 18 months to wait for this interview. If you ask me to reschedule, I don't know when next they're gonna give me. I've already waited 3 years, seriously. Like, just there's nothing you can do. And so she was like, okay. So she goes ahead and writes and writes and writes, and all this time now my anxiety is like way above the roof, and I'm like, now what is this? Because of just one vaccine, I have to lose out on an entire interview and stuff like that. Yeah, but after like 2 minutes, she writes everything and she gives me my certification to certify that yes, I have all the vaccines required. But she told me to go and make sure I get that variola vaccine added into my card. And so, yeah, gotta make sure that is done. So I will ensure that I have that. But all in all, I just got out of there and I was just thanking God. I was saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. Everything worked out to my favor because I didn't want to imagine I didn't want to imagine being sent home because of just that one visa. I would have cried. Like I'd already started prepping how I'm gonna be very dramatic and cry there until they sort me out. Like I was already planning in my head how I'll be like, let me speak to the manager, because like I wasn't. This thing's gonna mess you up. My interview is on the 9th and they're asking me to go on 11th. So that means I cannot attend my interview without having been cleared by IOM. So you see, it's gonna have a bad ripple effect on everything on the process. And I'm like, I've already wasted 3 years in this process. Like one vaccine cannot like mess up everything for me last minute. Yeah, so I'm very grateful that everything went well. I'm happy, and that has been my experience with medical. So please make sure you prep well. I think you have everything I have mentioned, and you are well set. You are well prepared, and I wish you all the best. Like everything was good, nothing was uncomfortable, like everything was perfect. Yeah, and it was a good day and I'm happy. Yay!